Well, book lovers, I'm here with New York Times and international best-selling historical fiction author Madeline Martin, who lives here on the First Coast, which is really cool. And today we're talking about her new book. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
And honestly, I know you're not supposed to judge a book by the cover, but it's absolutely beautiful. I actually really love the cover.
Thank you.
So give us an overview of your new book. It's called Secret Book Society.
Yes, so the Secret Book Society is set in the Victorian era where women were really very much discouraged from reading. And so Lady Duxbury is a thrice widowed countess, and yes, there's definitely talk that maybe she killed her husbands.
Ooh.
And she invites these women over to her house under the auspices of tea, but really it's much more subversive, where they're reading books that really empower them and they empower one another. And it kind of just involves everything that I love about the Victorian era.
That's really cool. So what goes into writing historical fiction? Because obviously you need to do a little research, I imagine.
Oh yes, a lot of research. So it takes me about a year to write a historical fiction, and that's because I do about 10 solid months of research.
Wow.
I really love the research process, and so I usually use generally about over 100 nonfiction books every time I write a single fiction book.
Holy cow.
And that's not always cover to cover,
yeah.
But it's a lot of nonfiction reading. It's a lot of newspaper articles reading. I do have to travel on site, of course. One does what one must. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I did get to go to London to do research for this book, and it's a lot of plotting and making sure that all of the characters are absolutely perfect.
So a lot of time and energy has gone into your books, because this is not your first one, right?
Correct. No. So this is my 5th historical fiction book. My previous historical fictions were all World War II, so this is my first time delving into the Victorian era, but I've actually written over 40 books.
What?
I know.
That's amazing.
Thank you. My other ones were historical romance.
Ooh,
yes,
that
I have
sounds
over
kinda
35. It's very spicy.
Oh, okay. I like the sound of that. So what inspired you ultimately to become an author?
So, for me, I've just always loved reading, and it's just something that I've always had stories in my head. And I've been writing for over 20 years. I've only been doing it full time for 5 years, and doing it full time now after working so hard to get to this point, it's just the best job in the whole world. I'm just so grateful, and I feel so lucky to have this job.
Yeah, passion turned into a career.
Absolutely.
So are you working on another one?
I am, yes.
Oh, wow.
So my next book for fall 2026 is called A Time of Witches, and that one is set in the 1600s, and it is about the witch trials in England. And it's actually a dual timeline with a woman starting in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And they are linked through a curse that transcends centuries, and history must be rewritten or all will be lost.
Oh
dun, dun,
my
dun.
gosh, that sounds so cool. I love the witchy lore and all the historic, the history of all of that too, because I mean, it's just, all of this is so interesting, but it's just crazy when you hear about the witch trials.
Oh, it really is, yeah. And I actually already turned it in before I left for my book tour, so it's already turned in, and I'm so excited about it.
Well, you'll have to come back and promote that one as well next year.
Fantastic.
Now, where can folks get more information on you and all your books?
Thank you. So my website is madelinemartin.com, and my books are available anywhere that you like to get your vendor and any platform that you like to get it in, including audiobook. And if you're local, you can find signed copies at San Marco Books and More in Jacksonville, or at Needful Books and Things in St. Augustine, Florida.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck with, I'm sure this next one's not going to be her last one, right?
Definitely
She's gonna
not.
keep going.
Oh, I already have, it's a 2-book contract, so they're getting me for, I'm never going to stop.
How exciting. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. And coming up, we're going to be taking